On a quiet street in a Florida suburb, most nights sound the same. Crickets, the distant hum of a highway, a dog barking 2 blocks away, a delivery truck rumbling past, one neighborhood over. And then, on one particular Thursday night, 14 seconds of video would quietly record something nobody understood yet. On the front porch of a small beige house, a Ring doorbell camera clicks to life. A young woman steps into frame. She's in her mid-20s, barefoot, still in her work clothes. Her expression is tight, not terrified, but not relaxed either. She looks back over her shoulder toward someone just out of frame. We don't see his full face, just the edge of a dark jacket, the curve of a shoulder, a restless hand. There's no clear audio, just muffled voices, tone rising, tension building. She crosses her arms. He leans in, too close to the doorway. She shakes her head once, sharply, and then she steps out of the house, onto the porch, moving toward that shadow just beyond the camera's edge. The clip ends 14 seconds later. No scream, no visible violence, no obvious crime. Just a door that never opens for her again. For the next 2 weeks, her family, her friends, and even the police will use 3 words. She is missing. Only when detectives finally watch this 14-second clip do those words start to change. From "she is missing" to something much darker. This is Lens of Justice. And this is the case of the 14-second doorbell clip. The story of that night doesn't start at the front door. It starts 2 blocks away at the edge of a busy street called Maple Avenue. Mounted high on a metal pole above a traffic light, a city-owned CCTV camera watches the intersection like it has for years. It doesn't care who comes or goes. It doesn't know names. It only sees patterns. Cars, headlights, brake lights blooming red, regular commuters turning into their usual neighborhoods, and around 9:17 p.m., the camera sees something different. A black sedan, older model, slightly dull paint. It passes through the frame, then comes back again 8 minutes later, and again a third time. 3 slow loops past the entrance to a quiet subdivision called Lakewood Grove. Not fast, not reckless, just circling. The camera records it all without a single human eye noticing in real time. A little after 9:40 p.m., a neighbor named Marcus is on his way home from the late shift. He's tired. He wants a shower, a snack, and his couch. Like a lot of drivers in Florida, he has a dash cam stuck to his windshield and doesn't think twice about it. As Marcus turns into Lakewood Grove, the dash cam is already rolling. Streetlights slide across his hood. Mailbox numbers drift past. 1821, 1823, 1825. At the corner near the beige house on Willow Lane, the black sedan appears again. This time, it isn't circling. It's parked. Engine idling, headlights off. Silhouette of a driver barely visible through the glass. Marcus remembers glancing at it for half a second. It didn't look like a crash. Didn't look like an emergency. If you asked him later, he'd say, "I just thought it was somebody texting in their car." He drives on. The dash cam records the sedan in the background as he passes. That video will sit on a memory card in his glove compartment for days, until a detective knocks on his door and asks a particular question. "Do you, by any chance, have a dash cam?" Back on Willow Lane, at 10:02 p.m., the front porch of a beige single-story house comes into view. A small welcome mat, a pair of shoes pushed off to one side, a potted plant that's seen better days. The Ring doorbell camera is armed, as always. It has seen packages get stolen. It has seen late-night food deliveries. It has seen the owner, a 25-year-old woman named Emily, come home exhausted and drop her keys more times than it can count. Tonight, at 10:02 p.m., it sees something else a motion alert triggers. The tiny fisheye lens wakes up and starts recording. Emily opens the door. She steps out quickly like she has been waiting or pacing. Behind her, just out of frame, someone is talking. We hear only fragments through the compressed audio. A low male voice, a few sharper notes, the rhythm of an argument without the words. Emily folds her arms tight across her chest. Her shoulders are rigid. She looks to her left, toward the driveway, where the ring camera can't quite see. A man's arm appears on the edge of the frame. Dark sleeve, light skin. A hand that lifts, drops, lifts again. Emily says something. And whatever it is, it makes him lean closer to the doorway. She glances back inside, as if checking that the door is still open. Then she makes a decision. She steps forward, off the mat, onto the porch toward the edge of the camera's vision, toward the man partially hidden, toward the car we now know is waiting at the curb. The video ends at 14 seconds. On the Ring app, it's just another thumbnail in a grid of many. No big red text, no flashing warning, just a date, a time. Motion detected. 2 weeks after that clip is recorded, a different camera wakes up at the same front door. This time, it's clipped to the vest of a patrol officer responding to a welfare check. The bodycam shows the same porch, the same worn welcome mat, the same plant, a little drier.
What exactly
now.
is that?
The officer knocks. He waits. He glances toward his partner standing on the lawn, then back at the door. On the recording, we hear his voice. "Sheriff's office? Anyone home?" He knocks again. No answer. Inside, the house is quiet. The last text Emily sent was 10 days ago. She hasn't shown up for work. She hasn't called her mother back. Her car isn't in the driveway. To the neighbors, to her landlord, to some of the officers on scene, one theory feels simple. She just left. Moved away, ran off with someone. Needed space. But the cameras that have already recorded her last known movements tell a different story. They just haven't been checked yet. Before that Thursday night, Emily Parker lived a life that looked ordinary from the outside. She worked full-time as an administrative assistant at a small insurance office.
I'm heading to the meeting right now. I'll call
She
you back
answered
in an hour.
phones,
We need to finalize
scheduled
the budget before the
appointments,
presentation this afternoon.
and kept a
sounds good. Send the revised
color-coded
contract over.
calendar that only she fully understood. Her co-workers would later describe her the same way.
So I told him,
On time, quiet, reliable.
That makes perfect
She
sense.
had a
I like
small
that.
circle
Me
of
too.
friends, a mother who called every Sunday, a rent payment that ate more of her paycheck than she'd like to admit.
This coffee
And
is amazing.
up until a
but
few months
honestly,
before she
I'm happier
disappeared,
just sitting here with you.
she had a boyfriend. His name was Ryan. They'd met the way so many couples do now, through a dating app and a conversation about favorite TV shows. At first, he seemed charming, funny, a little impulsive, in a good way. But over time, patterns emerged. He wanted to know where she was. Always he called if she didn't text back fast enough. He showed up unannounced, more and more often. When Emily finally ended the relationship, it wasn't because of one dramatic fight. It was a slow accumulation of unease. Friends remember her saying, "I just don't feel calm around him anymore." In the weeks after the breakup, Ryan didn't vanish from her life.
We
He
have
tried to
figure this
fix
out tonight.
things.
I can't let it
He
wait
sent
another day.
long
It's driving me
messages
crazy.
late at night. He left notes on her windshield at work. Sometimes he drove through her neighborhood and parked a few houses down, hoping she would come out and talk. When neighbors saw his black sedan more than once, they didn't know his name. They just knew that car again. On the night of the 14-second clip, phone records later showed a flurry of messages. 9 texts from Ryan to Emily, 1 from Emily back. Stop showing up at my house. We're done. At 9:52 p.m., his phone stopped sending texts. At 10:02 p.m., her Ring doorbell recorded the moment she stepped onto the porch. In the hours and days that followed, Emily's mother assumed her daughter was busy or upset. Friends thought she was taking time offline. But as appointments were missed, messages went unanswered, and a full work week passed with no sign of her. Concern hardened into fear. By the time officers with bodycams stood on her porch, knocking on her door, Emily had been missing for 14 days inside the house. Nothing was obviously wrong. No overturned furniture, no broken glass, no signs of a struggle. Her bed was made. Her clothes were still in the closet. Her toothbrush was in the bathroom, still damp with toothpaste crust. It didn't look like someone who had packed up and moved away. But without a clear witness, without a note, without any dramatic scene, it was hard to prove anything else. That's when detectives did what modern investigators do. They started asking a simple question. Who has cameras? And what did they see? From a legal perspective in the United States, cases like Emily's start in a gray area. At first, she's just unreachable. Then she's missing. But missing does not automatically mean a crime. Adults are allowed to leave, to turn off their phones, to disappear from their daily routines without telling anyone. So when a family reports someone missing, police have to decide, is this a situation where time is critical? Or one where the person might simply not want to be found? In many jurisdictions, officers begin with what's called a welfare check. That's what brought patrol officers to Emily's front porch with their body cams on. They confirm she's not inside. They talk to neighbors. They try to establish a last known sighting. Legally, at this point, there might not yet be any specific crime to investigate, no clear evidence of kidnapping. No body, no note. But when detectives begin to collect footage from around a neighborhood, CCTV at intersections, dash cams, doorbell cameras like Emily's, they're not just looking for her, they're looking for patterns. Who was near her house that night? Which cars appeared on more than one camera? Where did those cars go afterward? When they find the Ring clip, they see something important. Emily did not simply walk off alone into the night. She stepped outside while someone else was already there. A man's arm on the edge of the frame. A voice. A moment of confrontation. Combined with the circling sedan on Maple Avenue and the parked car on Marcus's dashcam, detectives are seeing more than a missing person case. They're seeing potential foul play. Legally, that changes the entire posture of the investigation. Instead of just a welfare check, they may begin treating the case more like a possible assault, abduction, or, in the worst scenario, a homicide investigation. In U.S. law, different charges depend heavily on intent. If someone plans to harm another person and carries out that plan, prosecutors might consider a form of murder. If someone acts recklessly, knowing their actions could seriously hurt or kill someone, but doing it anyway, they might face a charge closer to manslaughter. And in some cases, the law focuses not only on what happened, but on what happened next. Did the suspect try to hide what they did? Lie to investigators? Move evidence? Leave the scene? Those decisions can add charges like obstruction of justice or tampering with evidence. In Emily's case, by the time detectives connect the ring of cameras around her neighborhood, they have something crucial. A timeline showing that she was with someone that night, a car that didn't belong there circling her street, and no signs that she voluntarily relocated her life. That's enough, in many jurisdictions, to escalate the investigation, to seek search warrants, and to take a much closer look at the people who had access to her house, including an ex-boyfriend with a black sedan. And before we go further, it's important to be clear. This episode is for education and storytelling only. It does not give legal advice, and it does not tell you how any specific court or case will decide in the real world. It simply shows how, in a modern U.S. investigation, camera footage can push a case from maybe she left to someone may have made her disappear. As detectives dig deeper, Emily's car becomes the next question. It isn't in the driveway. It isn't at her office. It isn't sitting in an impound lot for days. There is nothing. And then, a patrol unit in a neighboring county runs a routine plate check in a public parking area near a small lake. And Emily's license plate comes back as a hit. Her car is found at the edge of a gravel lot by the water, parked crooked, as if it was left in a hurry. Crime scene technicians arrive. They photograph the car from every angle. They mark the ground with small numbered flags. The doors are locked. There's no broken glass, no obvious signs of a break-in. Inside, her purse sits on the passenger seat. Her wallet is in it. Her phone is not. To investigators, it doesn't look like the car of someone who drove away to start a new life. It looks like the car of someone who never had a chance to use it again. In the gravel around the tires, they notice faint impressions, not sharp shoe prints. Florida's weather and traffic have softened them, but they see patterns. More than one direction of movement areas where the gravel has been scuffed, dragged in a shallow arc. On their own, these marks don't tell a full story. But the cameras do. Detectives go back to the footage street CCTV on Maple Avenue shows the black sedan turning toward the lake road around 10:40 p.m. Marcus's dash cam shows the same sedan leaving the neighborhood not long after the doorbell clip. Traffic cameras along the route capture glimpses of tail lights consistent with that car. Now they have the last known images of Emily on her porch, the circling car that didn't belong, a vehicle matching her ex-boyfriend's model and color, heading in the direction where her car is later found. By combining timestamps, they build a timeline. 10:02 p.m. Emily steps onto the porch. Shortly after, a black sedan leaves Lakewood Grove by 10:40 p.m. A matching sedan is seen near the lake. Days later, Emily's car is found abandoned there. Forensic teams test soil from her driveway, from the street where the sedan was parked, and from the lot where her car turned up under a microscope. Tiny similarities appear, the kind of mineral fingerprint that can suggest where a vehicle has traveled. Again, no single piece is enough on its own, but together, the cameras, the car, the marks in the gravel, and the absence of any sign that Emily is alive start to form a larger picture. Not a picture the cameras took, but a picture the cameras made possible. In the end, the case of the 14-second doorbell clip doesn't stay just a missing person file. With enough pieces connected, phone records, car locations, statements from neighbors, and a web of camera footage, detectives bring in Emily's ex-boyfriend Ryan for questioning. He denies knowing where she is. He says he hasn't seen her in weeks. He says he never went back to her house after the breakup, but the cameras disagree. The city CCTV records his car circling her street. Marcus's dashcam shows it parked near her house. The Ring doorbell shows his sleeve at her door. Traffic cameras show a similar car going toward the lake. Emily's car is left there without her. Prosecutors in this fictional composite case use those facts to build charges that reflect what they believe happened that night. Whether it ends in a plea deal or a full trial, the core truth of the story is this: if there had been no cameras, Emily's disappearance might have stayed a mystery. Just another file in a drawer. Just another face on a missing person poster. Instead, a 14-second clip that looked unremarkable at first glance became a turning point. The lens on her front door saw the last time she stepped outside. The lenses across her city traced the path of a car that shouldn't have been there, and the lenses on a police officer's chest captured the empty doorway where she should have been. In the modern United States, we pass through a web of cameras every single day: streetlights, stores, doorbells, dashboards. For investigators, those silent witnesses can mean the difference between no leads and a line of evidence that brings a case to court. For the rest of us, they raise harder questions. How much safety is worth how much surveillance? When does being seen protect us? And when does it simply watch us? On Lens of Justice, we look at crimes and investigations through those lenses. We tell the story not just of what happened, but of how cameras, law, and forensics help reveal the truth. Piece by piece, frame by frame. If you want more camera-driven crime documentaries like this one, you can subscribe to Lens of Justice and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next case file. Because somewhere, right now, another camera is already recording the start of someone else's story.